Hello, this video is going to take you through an introduction to SideStream Studio 5.2.9. So this is the software that comes alongside the scanner to help you analyze the scan data. So your basic operations in this interface are left click to rotate, and you can move the scan around and view it from different aspects. You can right click and pan to move the scan around the screen to different positions. These two let you line things up properly. You can use the scroll wheel on the mouse to zoom in and zoom out. You can also press down on the scroll wheel to fine zoom. And the other thing that I find incredibly useful if you have a trackpad on your computer is you can use two fingers on the trackpad and zoom in. And this really helps get close up to the scan if you're checking landmarks or other things. So that's your basic operations. Left click to rotate, right click to pan, the scroll wheel or the trackpad to zoom in. So once we have the scan open, and the synonymous scan here, we can then perform some analysis on it. Well, actually, before we get to that, we're just going to show you the basic loading of a body mesh. So you have a scan open here, but you might want a different scan open. So you can click Load Refine Body Mesh. It will take you to where they are. I'm just going to reload the same scan again, but you can see, so you'd find your location on the computer, then you'd open it. It opens the scan up here. So once you've loaded a body mesh, you may then choose to get measurements. So at the moment, neither of these is ticked. So it's not taking custom measurements. It's not showing landmark coordinates, but it is going to take the default set of measurements. You can check what they are by going to the settings. And you can see here you have a default measurement list. This is the one that I'm using. You can see my current custom measurement list. And you can see the default that I'm using for defining where the waist is going to be placed. So if I go back to here, I can just left click on Get Measurements, and it runs quite quickly through the analysis and gives me a series of the default measurements positioned on the body like this. So if I were checking it, one of the things that I might want to do is turn on the landmark. So if I just click Show Landmark Coordinates, you'll see a series of red dots have now been placed on, and these show the landmarks that are on the scan and give me an indication also of where some of the measurements might be. So I can see from this line up the side here, this is the waist, and these red landmarks denote the waist, front, back, and sides. Okay, and I can start to perform more analysis on the scans and get an idea of the measurements that I've got. So I can zoom in and check and make sure the measurements are where I'd expect them to be on the body. The measurements around the neck, centre back neck, around the column girth, measurements around the armhole. Again, measurements around the lower body as well. I can see on this default scan that my wrist is just a little bit lower than I want. So I might want to check that. I might rescan again or something else. So what you can also do within this is you can use Control S to hide all the measurements. So it removes all the measurements. And if you want to see all of them, you can hit Control and that will show all of them. But if you hit Control and hide all the measurements, you then may want to go through and say, well, actually, I just want to look at certain measurements and see where they are. So you could scroll down the list and find them. So that's the optimum waist tape measure. I can find it here, and I can have a look at where it is on the body. And similarly, then I might want to go, well, where's the bust measurement on here? So I could find just that. So the bust would drop. It's chest bust here. So I might want to turn this one on, and I can see now where these measurements are placed on the body. Okay, so this gives you all the opportunity to start to perform the analysis on the scans. You've got the basic operations there as well. You can select the individual measurements. I can hit Control A, and they're all selected again. So that is your brief introduction to the SideStream Studio 5.2.9. Thank you.